It's a bad ankle. And for the two-time defending U.S. champion Nastia Liukin, it's just one of her issues. The others, maybe bigger ones, are her age and her competition. In this never-ending battle to find the new kid on the gymnastics block, this is 15-year-old Shawn Johnson, who in the Olympic picture could be peaking at a better time. The plan for Nastia has always been win an Olympic medal, just like her dad did 20 years before. But as her date with destiny draws within a year, the wear and tear of preparation and parent-teenager relationship may be taking its toll.
Nastia is a very fragile gymnast. She's not physically strong, so I have to be very careful with her. I have to count and, the turns and make some careful planning and stuff. I'm not afraid of the work right now because we really do need that at this point.
That was weak, You're going over. And on the floor, you just try to exhale too early. Exhale after when you hit a handstand, then you can push it over. It's exactly your problem as you land on your butt. So it was high, but what good does it do, that high?
My dad's voice, comes into my head a lot, just thinking about during practice, all those little mistakes that he always tells me throughout my routine. I feel like if I, in 2006 when I did have that mistake, I was upset, and then, it's upsetting, I know, for my dad too, because he's worked so hard with me and, for me. So I feel like I've kind of disappointed myself and him at the same time.
I still feel like the baby of the group. I'm the newcomer, so I feel a little behind. And it doesn't put too much pressure on me, but if I do well, then everybody's just like, wow. So it's exciting.
Yes, I like that one. A little bit more feet. I think that was a very nice one.
Today, one dream collides with another as the girl from West Des Moines, Iowa tries to prove herself against another who's been dealing with fate and destiny. Beijing, in less than a year. For one, it may be just right. For the other, it may be too far.
I'd say one thing is I really don't have a title to defend. I'm just earning it and trying to work for it.
That is our stylized look at the story of this 2007 Visa Championships. Shawn Johnson will be 16 when the Olympics hit in 2008. That's perfect in the gymnastic world. Nastia Liukin will be 18. That is not necessarily ideal in the world of women's gymnastics. We welcome you to the HP Pavilion in San Jose, California. Al Trautwig with Tim Daggett and Elfie Schlegel. How will it all play out as Nastia Liukin deals with a nagging ankle injury for more than a year and Shawn Johnson just deals with maybe peaking at the right time? That is what will play out here. We'll start things off with Shawn Johnson on the uneven bars, and some might look at her resume, Tim and Elfie, and say, wait a minute, what has this woman won? She hasn't won a national championship. Why does she deserve all of this attention?
Well, last year, she was a junior. They compete with the exact same rules, and her score was higher than Nastia Liukin, who was the senior all-around champion. Frequently, 2 years away from the Olympic Games, you see stars like this emerge.
And don't forget that Shawn won the American Cup this year. She's just come off the Pan American Games win. She says she still feels like a baby and really, not the leader of the team. But I'll tell you what, she is going to be a leader next year.
And really what she excels at, she is such a daredevil. This dismount, only a handful in the world can do this. Double twisting, double land. Wow.
We've got a few different storylines here. One, we've got the individual dreams and hopes, and we've got the Olympics, obviously, in 2008. But this next, Shawn Johnson gets a 15.3 in this new World of Gymnastics score. Germany for the World Championships. And Nastia Liukin, you see that her ankle is taped there, and this has become a major thing for her.
Yeah, she has not competed on 4 events since this competition last year. It has been such an up and down battle for her. She had surgery after she got home from the World Championships in November, and it was doing very well. In May, she thought it was just about perfect, and it flared up again. Big problems, hasn't been able to train, do the numbers, anywhere near the numbers that she would have liked to on some of the punishing events like floor exercise and vaulting. But that right there, very, very good. She was a little off, but held on.
In fact, at the Pan American Games, she was a specialist there, so she's really only had 3 weeks to train all 4 events. That's very tough to do coming in to a national championship.
But a healthy Nastia Liukin, she is an amazing athlete. All over the world, the gymnastics experts just marvel at everything that she does. Her body line, the precision that she works. If she's healthy, look out.
Skills like that, taking her focus off the beam, very risky. I mean, everything she does, it's beautiful, it's clean, it's precise. She has an incredible artistry, and as you mentioned, Tim, that's what the judges are looking for. This dismount coming up has been a little bit difficult for her. Triple twist.
Whoa, and that was not good right there. She's supposed to completely turn her body around, make 3 twists.
Nastia Liukin gets a 15.6.
You know, that's a big score, Al.
Night 1 of the 2007 Visa National Championship continues now. This is the first time at the senior level for Shawn Johnson. She didn't seem to be bothered by it at all.
You know, unfazed by it all. And I am so amazed to watch her in this arena and the bigness of the national championships. But, you know, the scary thing is she's going on to bigger gymnastics and could potentially score extremely high on the next 3 events.
And you know, guys, both of you can talk about timing. Tim, your body didn't cooperate when you tried to go for a second Olympics. Elfie, politics didn't cooperate with your Olympic dream. And here it is. It's just about age for her, and she had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be lucky, but she's also a lot more than lucky.
You know, she has some of the most difficult, in fact, the most difficult beam routine planned in the championships. And I have to say, it's probably the most difficult routine in the world.
Look at this. It's like ridiculous from start to finish. Giant gymnastic skill for this tiny little gymnast from Iowa. She told us that it probably is a bigger deal for her. Beijing and competing in China. Both of her coaches who she's been with forever. Chinese gymnasts on the national team over there.
Tim, you handed me this quote. She said, "They call us the survivors of our sport because it pushes you to your physical and mental limits." That's from a 15-year-old.
And you know, she's spending so many hours in the gym every day throughout the week, and she tells us that the most difficult thing is staying focused and committed to her gymnastics.
And she bet it right here. She struggled on this morning. No problem there. Very difficult, full twisting double somersault. That routine, it is wall to wall.
Shawn Johnson has vaulted forward with a 15.75. Nastia Liukin after a 15.6 on the balance beam.
Saw her a couple of weeks ago at a gymnastics camp. She still told me she hadn't been doing any of the tumbling. This is a huge test. Yellow flag, she steps out of bounds and cannot believe she didn't sit that down.
Well, it's unfortunate, but at this level, the moment the routine is over, the focus is often not on what went right, but what went wrong.
And she had actually a lot going wrong towards the end. Looked exhausted, that maybe they just rushed it a little bit too much.
And we get word that Nastia Liukin's application to change her score worked. She gains 1/10 of a point, so score 1 for her and her dad. Midway point of the first night of competition for the Visa Championships. Now, after a aided 14.4 that was upgraded after the appeal from her dad, Nastia Liukin wants to try and catch up to Shawn Johnson here. She's heard all the stuff. She knows what Shawn Johnson is and how Shawn Johnson is challenging her throne.
And, you know, I think that the first vault she did on the hard ground since she's been injured was here on this podium. And the first one she did, it was scary, I got to tell you. And she's way high on the vaulting table.
You know, it's funny. When we first came on the air tonight, we showed a shot from her gym where her father, Valeri, said to her, "You're really high, but what good does it do you?" How did she not sit down?
It's amazing. But that is a devastating number for Nastia Liukin.
Wow, and a huge opportunity now for Shawn Johnson to really slam that door that's partially open, wide open.
Well, she herself describes in her own words, "I'm a daredevil with a big smile."
To the edge. I'll tell you what, this kid is from Central Casting. When the director calls up and says, "Send me a gymnast who looks like a world champion," this is who comes knocking at the door.
And 5 great tumbling passes, and look at, she's still smiling. That's exhausting.
Heading to the 4th rotation of night 1, it's been the Shawn Johnson show so far.
And she's actually capable of doing an even more difficult vault. This is about as hard as it gets in women's gymnastics. A double twisting Yurchenko. She is capable of doing a 2.5 twist. Isn't going to do it night 1, says she'll do it day 2. Easy.
Yeah, very easy for her.
Shawn Johnson, 15.2. She maintains the lead.
You know, it's written all over her face. She knows exactly the gravity of this situation.
She needs to salvage something out of this first night.
Well, this bar routine is exceptional, to say the least. This routine could value in the 7.1 in terms of the difficulty. If you add in a perfect execution score, she could score 17. It's that big.
Watch this right here. A 1.5 turn. Right into her release. Phenomenal.
Look at those handstands. She's just perfect.
All week long, she has been doing bar routine after bar routine. And honestly, this is like 1.5 routines for everybody else. It is so long.
It is by far the most difficult bar routine in the world.
This is relatively a new dismount, double front. Oh,
Oh, man.
Whoa.
Just an absolutely beautiful paragraph with a bad period at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, Nastia Liukin, a 15.35 even with the bad landing. You do the math, you think that the 2-year reign of Nastia Liukin is over. But that may not be what we're here to see. We may be here to see what is her response to a night, the first night, when almost everything went wrong and almost everything went right for a 15-year-old who'll be 16 in the Olympic year. And that's just about perfect. Well, here's Shawn Johnson. How's she going to handle this? How's she going to handle being the person now, the leader after night one?
I don't think you'll see any difference in her gymnastics after the first night. She actually loves being in that position, and so far it's all going very right for her.
It's not easy to start on the beam.
Big, big, big skill right here. Back with a full. Wow.
It's incredible. You know, I don't think it matters where you put her up in the competition because she is so well trained. Now, most of the athletes here are doing 2 workouts a day, a morning, a late afternoon. She practices once a day for 5 hours. That's it.
It's barely a wobble.
Yeah, she looks like she's on the floor.
Now, if there's a place that she's shown any type of struggle while she's been in San Jose, it's on the dismounts. Very difficult. Only one in the competition to do it. A full twisting double right here.
She looks like she's ready for everything.
Now, you know, her coach, Chow, came up to me right before the meet began, and he said, not bad for the first time.
Shawn Johnson in a runaway, leading here in San Jose, California, with a 16.1. Now, Nastia Liukin. Elfie, what do we mean when we say it's not perfect timing for her to be 18 in the Olympic year as opposed to 16?
Well, you know, she's done a lot of gymnastics. She's been out on the international scene a lot longer than Shawn Johnson, and her body has been through so much training and the high level of competition. So she's just wearing down a little bit.
Tim, what do you predict for her?
Well, Al, this is her biggest challenge, the floor exercise with that injured ankle. Wow. It was such a huge improvement from night one up until the very end.
She looked really tired going into that last pass.
They should have taken that last element out too.
13.75. That is not the beginning of a comeback. Shawn Johnson, the would-be national champion, absolutely sticking it on the balance beam. Now, Shawn Johnson, the leader, and it's a runaway. And she just keeps smiling her way through. getting through it without a problem. 15.35. Here on the vault, where she fell, as we saw in warm-up.
This is hard for her. Better than night one, but still a huge squat on the landing and stepping off to the side.
Resigned to just somehow getting through this.
And this right here is an absolute walk in the park for Shawn Johnson. She's so powerful, so dynamic. She gets through this one, then she has one left.
Beautiful, explosive. You know, if she's going to improve in any little area, obviously, she just needs to stick it.
Now 15.15. Now Nastia Liukin has 2 chances to save her night. First one comes right now on the uneven bars.
And of course, we know that this is her best event, probably the hardest bar routine in the world. After she fell on night one, she was back in the gym, and guess what? Doing a new dismount.
It's really tricky right here. Full and a half turn into a big release. She flies high. She has a beautiful line.
Perfect toe point.
She goes from that high bar to the low bar. It's like whoosh, just like on a playground playing. It's awesome. So here comes the new dismount. She added a half turn right here.
Why didn't she do that night one?
That is what champions do.
Well, actually, she has been protecting that ankle. When you do a half turn, when you come in backwards, it's a little bit more force on the ankle. They were trying to protect it, but they made the right choice there.
Nastia Liukin, but what she did on the uneven bars a few minutes ago got everybody's attention. And she battles back from her ankle injury. Shawn Johnson, this will be her last event in crowning her as the new national champion.
And onward and upward to bigger and better things. She will be, like you said, the national champion. In a couple of weeks, could easily be world champion. She doesn't do the hardest bar routine, but she certainly does the hardest bar dismount. Double twisting double.
That's it. It's official. Shawn Johnson there getting a 15.3. Here's Nastia Liukin looking to end her night the way she did a few minutes ago on the uneven bars, triumphantly.
And she can do that. She can end on such a high note right here. She's made changes throughout the competition. She has one small change that she's made on her dismount here as well.
You know, she told us that she doesn't like to focus only on the Olympic Games, but this year, she says, it's been very, very difficult. And ironically, she says, just thinking about all the time, the 15 years I've put into it, and that the Olympics are only 1 year away, that is what's gotten her through.
She also says that her mother has been a really big help. She was the '87 world champion in rhythmic gymnastics, missed the '88 Olympic Games because of an illness. And she said, Nastia, you never want to look back and think what could have happened. You need to go for it.
So in the first night, she did a triple twist dismount and did not complete it. Stumbled forward. Seen her warm up just a 2.5, but still very challenging.
That's a world champion.
And she reminds us how she got there. So the final standings tell us that Shawn Johnson wins by 3.45, and Nastia Liukin battles back to finish on the podium.
I just came in here, wanted to have fun, of course, and just wanted to do what I do at home and just practice and hit my routines, and I did. I never imagined this. And
you had to walk right past Mary Lou Retton right after your vault. What was going through your mind?
Oh my gosh, it's Mary Lou. But I don't know, it's such an honor to see her and have her be here. And
you've been compared to her, and you've been compared to Kim Zmeskal, and you've won everything you could possibly win in your first year as a senior. Pretty heady stuff. What's it like to be you right now?
Great, but kind of like dreamlike. I mean, I still can't believe that I've gone to American Cup, Pan Ams, and now Visa Championships, and I've won, and it's all a dream.